In a world consumed by the relentless pursuit of attention, a different philosophy calls out from the past. Stoicism, an ancient school of thought, offers a refreshing antidote to our modern affliction. Imagine for a moment a life less concerned with the fleeting approval of others. This is the promise of Stoicism, a philosophy that champions virtue, reason, and living in accordance with nature. We live in a world that thrives on noise. Social media feeds, 24/7 news cycles, and the constant ping of notifications create a cacophony that relentlessly competes for our attention. In this environment, the ability to unplug, to retreat from the digital din, has become a rare and precious commodity. But what if we were to reclaim our privacy? What if we were to create intentional spaces in our lives, free from the relentless demands of the digital world? There's a certain strength that comes from holding your cards close to your chest, from keeping your aspirations and struggles private. It's not about being secretive or antisocial, it's about creating a sanctuary for your goals to take root and flourish, protected from the harsh glare of public scrutiny. By embracing the Stoic principle of privacy, we shift our focus inward. We stop seeking validation from the outside world and instead cultivate a quiet confidence that stems from knowing our own path and walking it with purpose. Imagine your goals as seeds, delicate and full of potential. When we shield our goals from the constant scrutiny of the outside world, we create an inner sanctum where they can germinate and flourish. Free from the pressure of external expectations, we are free to experiment, to stumble, and to grow at our own pace. This protected space allows us to connect with our intrinsic motivations, untainted by the desire for approval or recognition. In the age of instant gratification and social media sharing, it's tempting to announce our goals as soon as they take shape in our minds. However, this premature exposure can come at a cost, subtly undermining our commitment and hindering our progress. When we share our goals publicly, we often receive a surge of initial support and encouragement. This can create a false sense of accomplishment, tricking our brains into believing we've already achieved something meaningful. In contrast to the outward-facing, validation-seeking approach, Stoicism encourages a quieter, more internal path to achieving our goals. It's about focusing on the process, on the daily disciplines and small victories that pave the way to lasting fulfillment. This inward focus allows us to cultivate a sense of mastery that stems not from external recognition, but from the satisfaction of knowing we are living in alignment with our values. When we shift our focus from seeking external validation to cultivating inner excellence, we tap into a deeper well of motivation. One of the cornerstones of Stoic philosophy is the dichotomy of control. The Stoics wisely understood that our energy is best spent focusing on what we can influence, not what eludes our grasp. Privacy, when viewed through the lens of Stoicism, becomes a powerful tool for managing our own internal world. By carefully choosing what we share and with whom we share it, we create a protective barrier against the onslaught of external influences that can disrupt our equilibrium. In a world driven by the relentless pursuit of attention, it takes conscious effort to resist the siren call of self-promotion. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to this digital narcissism: temperance. When applied to our digital lives, temperance encourages us to pause before we post, to ask ourselves why we feel the need to share. By honestly examining our motivations, we can begin to break free from the addictive cycle of seeking external approval. The Stoics placed great emphasis on the concept of detachment. Not detachment from the world itself, but from the outcomes of our actions. They understood that true peace of mind comes not from getting everything we want, but from accepting what is, and focusing on what we can control. By detaching from the outcome, we free ourselves to enjoy the journey. We find joy in the process, in the daily disciplines and small victories that pave the way to growth and fulfillment. In the digital age, we are bombarded with an overwhelming amount of information. Stoicism calls upon us to cultivate the virtue of discernment, the ability to distinguish between what is good, bad, helpful, and harmful. By carefully choosing what we read, watch, and listen to, we curate our own mental diet. By cultivating discernment, we create space for what truly matters, allowing us to live with greater intention, focus, and fulfillment. Digital minimalism. Curating your online sanctuary. In today's hyper-connected world, it's easy to feel like we're drowning in a sea of digital noise. It's time to reclaim our digital space and curate an online environment that supports our well-being, not depletes it. Enter digital minimalism, a philosophy that encourages us to be intentional about our relationship with technology. The art of saying no, setting boundaries with grace. One of the most challenging yet essential aspects of maintaining privacy is learning to set and enforce healthy boundaries. In a world that often glorifies busyness and responsiveness, saying no can feel like an act of rebellion. We fear disappointing others, missing out on opportunities, or appearing rude or ungrateful. However, saying no is not selfish, it's an act of self-preservation. The Stoics understood the importance of protecting one's time and energy. They recognized that every yes to something means saying no to something else, whether it's time with loved ones, personal projects, or simply quiet moments of reflection. By learning to say no with grace and conviction, we reclaim our time and energy for what truly matters. Start by identifying your non-negotiables, the activities, people, and values that bring you joy, meaning, and fulfillment. Once you're clear about your priorities, you can start setting boundaries that protect these precious resources. This might mean declining invitations to events you don't feel passionate about, delegating tasks that drain your energy, or setting aside time each day for solitude and reflection. Remember, saying no doesn't have to be harsh or confrontational. You can decline requests politely but firmly without feeling obligated to over-explain or apologize. A simple thank you for thinking of me, but I won't be able to make it, or I'm fully committed right now, but I appreciate you asking, can suffice. Mindfulness. Cultivating presence in a distracted world. In our fast-paced, always-on world, it's easy to feel like we're constantly rushing from one thing to the next, our minds racing with thoughts about the past and worries about the future. This constant mental chatter can leave us feeling anxious, depleted, and disconnected from the present moment, the only moment we truly have control over. Mindfulness, a practice rooted in ancient wisdom traditions, offers a powerful antidote to this epidemic of distraction. It's about cultivating a state of present moment awareness, paying attention to our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. It's about learning to observe our minds without getting swept away by the current of our thoughts. Mindfulness doesn't require hours of meditation or a complete lifestyle overhaul. It can be as simple as paying attention to your breath for a few moments, noticing the sensations of your feet on the ground as you walk, or savoring each bite of your meal. By bringing awareness to these everyday experiences, we cultivate a sense of presence and appreciation for the richness of the present moment. When we practice mindfulness, we create space between our thoughts and our reactions. We become more aware of our habitual patterns of thinking and behaving, giving us the opportunity to choose more skillful responses. This increased self-awareness is essential for making conscious choices about what we share, how we spend our time, and who we allow into our inner circle. Section 4. The Stoic Shield, protecting your inner citadel. Imagine yourself as a warrior, standing strong amidst the chaos of battle. You are armed not with physical weapons, but with the impenetrable shield of Stoic philosophy. This shield, forged in the fires of reason and virtue, protects you from the arrows of external negativity, the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. The Stoic shield is not about building walls or isolating ourselves from the world. It's about developing an inner resilience that allows us to weather life's inevitable storms with grace and composure. It's about cultivating a sense of peace that comes from knowing we cannot control external events, but We can control our reactions to them. This shield is forged through the daily practice of Stoic principles, focusing on what we can control, accepting what we cannot, living in accordance with nature, and pursuing virtue above all else. It's a lifelong journey, a constant process of self-reflection, learning and growth. As you navigate the challenges and triumphs of life, remember the Stoic shield. Draw strength from the wisdom of this ancient philosophy and let it guide you towards a life of purpose, meaning, and inner peace. For in the words of Marcus Aurelius, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Choose wisely and protect your inner citadel. True strength lies not in seeking external validation, but in cultivating the sanctuary within. Privacy offers a much-needed respite, allowing us to reconnect with our authentic selves. In these quiet moments, we gain clarity and strength. Privacy is about choosing how, when, and with whom we share ourselves. By prioritizing our well-being, we show up in the world with clarity and purpose. The Stoics believed that true fulfillment comes not from external achievements or possessions, but from living in accordance with nature. That is, living in alignment with our rational and virtuous selves. They understood that happiness is not something to be pursued directly, but rather a byproduct of living a life guided by wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. When we integrate the principles of Stoicism into our approach to privacy, we create a powerful synergy that fuels our personal growth and propels us towards a life of greater meaning and purpose. We learn to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, our reactions, our own character, and to accept with grace the things that lie beyond our influence. This Stoic path is not about suppressing our emotions or denying the challenges of life. It's about facing those challenges with courage, resilience, and a deep understanding that we possess the inner strength to navigate whatever storms may come our way. By cultivating a sense of detachment from outcomes, we free ourselves from the tyranny of expectations and learn to find joy in the journey itself. Remember, the Stoic journey is not a destination, but a lifelong practice. It's about showing up each day with a commitment to living in accordance with our values, to learning from our experiences, and to cultivating the virtues that lead to a life of true fulfillment. Living in accordance with our nature means honoring our need for both connection and solitude. It's about finding a balance that allows us to nourish our souls and show up as our most authentic selves. In a society that glorifies extroversion, it takes courage to honor our need for solitude. By embracing Stoic practices, we create a life that reflects our values and supports our well-being. Remember, living in accordance with our nature is an ongoing process of self-discovery and refinement. In a world that often equates noise with importance, Stoicism reminds us of the enduring power of quiet strength. It's about recognizing that true influence comes not from seeking attention, but from living a life of integrity, purpose, and compassion. It's about letting our actions speak louder than words and inspiring others through the quiet example of our own lives. As we navigate the complexities of the digital age, let us remember the lessons of the Stoics. Let us cultivate the sanctuary within, embrace the power of privacy, and live in accordance with our highest values. Let us be beacons of calm amidst the storm, radiating a quiet strength that inspires others to do the same. For in the words of Seneca, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements if it were all well invested. But when it is wasted in heedless luxury and spent on no good activity, we are forced at last by death's final constraint to realize that it has passed away before we knew it was passing. May we all strive to live lives of intention, purpose, and quiet strength, leaving behind a legacy that whispers of wisdom, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. The path of Stoicism, paved with the stones of privacy, awaits those ready to embark on the journey within.